The bee or not the bee? That is the question I ask myself every morning as I drink from my the bee or not the bee mug. Now you too can drink from this amazing coffee cup and ask yourself the same question. Which is better? It's so hard to decide. In fact, I would say it's absolutely the Babylon Bee, but not the Bee's pretty cool too. Enjoy this mug.
Christian movies, they're good.
Oh, aren't they?
Good to laugh at.
Sometimes.
Except for the comedies, which are not funny.
I mean, you know, it's hit and miss. It's nice if you could just actually have somebody tell you ahead of time if it's worth watching, or even if it's like so bad it's good or whatever. You know.
But people say that, and I haven't found somebody I trust.
I have.
Until now.
Yeah.
Because
here
today we are interviewing Kevin McSomething.
Yeah, he's got a last name.
McCreary.
And
he's not here yet.
Not here yet. He's Say Goodnight Kevin. And I will admit, like usually when I do these preparations for these shows, I'll get on and I'll watch a few minutes of each video, you know, and just get a broad idea, and then I'll write a bunch of notes and stuff. I started watching the videos and I couldn't. They're like, you know, they're like a 20-minute video, and I was just into it. I was just watching the whole thing.
I'm a fan.
And I realized I got to the point where like I had not written any notes, but we had a great conversation because I dug the videos. We grok. You know the word grok?
Yeah. I do. It's from Robert A. Heinlein novel.
Okay.
Stranger in a Strange Land.
Well, I'm glad that I got to let you say that.
Yeah.
And show off. Speaking
and
of
it's probably wrong, but you know, I think that's what it's from.
So, Say Goodnight Kevin. He's got a YouTube channel, and it's great. And my battery's about to die, so let's bring him on.
And we're going to talk about Christian movies and how crazy they are. Let's do it. Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Hey.
Kevin's here. How you
Hi.
doing, Kevin? Why don't we just
I'm doing great.
Open the mic and you just talk about bad Christian movies for the next hour.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's nothing left to say.
There's nothing left to say, really.
I mean, I think Babylon Bee has had plenty of articles about Christian movies.
Back when we made fun of Christians.
Oh, yeah.
Before we got
when you guys were funny, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Back in the
the
golden
heyday.
era. Yeah.
It is true that, not that you guys aren't funny anymore. That's a given. That's a truism.
Right, obviously.
But that every time you guys would put out anything related to Christian movies, I would get a flood of, have you seen this messages? Like, hey, have you seen that they made a joke?
So you're glad that we don't do that anymore?
Yeah, I'm very relieved. I mean, I would love it if you guys weren't shills for Trump, but other than that,
right.
You know.
Yeah, that's why we put Trump in, like, as Moses.
I see that. You love him.
And as Jesus, because we unironically
think he's the
that
exact same
like
thing.
that. Yeah.
Basically.
We have this Chesterton.
Yeah.
With rockets.
You just triggered a G.K. Chesterton animation.
Here we go.
G.K. Chesterton.
Good. Love him. Yeah. It was who's the director of oh man, I can't remember his name.
Peter Jackson.
No. He did the Doctor Strange.
Oh, Scott Derrickson.
Yeah. Have you guys had him on?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, good.
You
good.
didn't know.
Then I don't have to say anything. He didn't know anything about Chesterton? Is that what you're...
Oh, he knows
Chesterton.
Chesterton.
He knows a lot
yeah.
about Chesterton.
That's who I heard about him from.
Ah,
I saw a talk, and he's like, you know, if you want to
He was part of my original Chesterton group.
Okay.
He would come now and then. He was the far left member, and him and Doug Tnaple getting these like loud, screaming, swearing matches. It was awesome. Just drinking your beer.
That
and
should be the
listening to these
podcast,
guys.
or that should be a podcast.
It should be
the spin-off podcast.
Oh man!
Although if Scott hears this, he will probably disavow all knowledge and involvement with that group and Doug Tnaple.
He's pretty publicly like people have asked him to disavow Doug, and he's like no, Doug's a friend.
Oh, good.
I've been impressed
Good for
by
him.
that. Yeah.
I was just kidding. I love you, Scott.
Oh, so he has no
he doesn't.
principles?
Yeah, zero. Yeah, all he cares about is stupid things like friendship.
Friendship.
Yeah.
Honor.
So you dedicated your life and career to Christian movies, watching Christian movies. Why?
Is that fully your thing? I mean, that's most of the videos I see.
It's
But
most of it, but yeah.
I'll review other movies too.
Sure,
I mean,
video
think
games now and then.
I was talking during movies already. So
Might as well.
record it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
now
they're
people
well
like
edited.
it.
There were a lot of production goes into your videos.
It takes too long.
It's got to take a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people talk during movies, though. Like my wife, well,
He loves her.
I love her.
No,
But she couldn't make money off recording her comment. She wouldn't make any money.
but
off
if she
recording
finds
her
out how to
comments.
make money doing it, let me know.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I made an assumption.
You guys assume he makes money.
Yeah.
So, and your videos are called Say Goodnight Kevin. Is that your full name?
That is my given name.
Say Goodnight Kevin.
Yeah, no, Say Goodnight Kevin's the channel. Yeah.
Okay.
And my name's Kevin
What's that
McCreary.
mean? Why does it say goodnight?
It's a reference to Home Alone.
Okay, I
Say
think
goodnight, Kevin.
Good night, Kevin.
That's okay.
And my name's Kevin.
Okay.
So it all connects.
You don't get a lot of Kevins
all
anymore.
connected.
Kevin's kind of an 80s name or 89, early
It's out
90s.
a little
name,
bit, I
right?
think.
Yeah.
It's not cool. I think people
Sorry.
met too many Kevins.
It was cool. It had like its heyday.
Yeah. And then people met Kevins and they're like,
yeah.
I'm not naming my kid that. Not now.
Well, you've discussed a lot of movies I want to get into.
Yeah, I'm so pumped
I
here.
don't even know where to start.
Kevin's not even in the top 50 baby names this year.
Wow.
Looking through.
Kevin Max.
What is?
Is Ethan in there? Ethan got really popular.
It was popular.
when I was a
Number
baby.
About 10
14.
years
Number
ago.
14.
See?
Number
10.
1 is Noah,
Noah's my brother's name, which was also not popular when he was born. So my parents were like
a little prophetic.
Innovators.
innovators.
No Kyle either. This is disappointing.
Namers.
Yeah.
Namers.
Namers.
We did it.
So, okay, let's just jump into it.
Yeah.
I was on your channel, and I didn't even know this movie existed. There's a Lego Passion of the Christ.
What?
There is.
You guys, I heard you guys vaguely talking about this when you were talking
And it's
about
sincere.
earlier.
It's not like a
Yeah.
parody.
No, you would think like, this is some sacrilegious some
parody or something. Right?
parody, because to me, at least, my experience with Lego stuff has been like the Lego movie,
like
like
Lego
Batman,
Batman,
all the video games where it's like, oh, look, it's Lord of the Rings, but he accidentally dropped the ring.
And the ring's like the size of a bottle cap.
Yeah, it's all slapstick. This is not that. So if you go into it expecting slapstick,
But when they're
be
like
prepared
punching
for
Jesus
blood.
in this video, it's unavoidably silly, right? Because he's like,
I
and the guy
think so.
he falls over. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus has his hands like that the whole time.
Yeah, and when they nail him to the cross, his hands are still like that, so the nail just goes through his
Through the
little
whole
claw.
Okay.
Yeah, but they had to glue his arms on, like you can see. I mean, it's
Oh, to have straight arms.
it's not a production studio that made this.
I'm
Okay, so
watching
it's
him
a guy's
get beat.
indie-
I'm watching blood
It's
come
an
out of a
indie.
Lego Jesus. Oh my. That is a thing that happened.
So like,
So
it actually looks great. I mean, as far as like,
It's like very serious,
Yeah.
dramatically
But it's
filmed
well-
and,
like, there's cool
done
lighting and, like, everything else.
Focus and all that.
yeah, I was
there's talent
impressed
there.
with and the guy's done other stuff. He's a homeschool kid,
Okay.
as you would imagine, and because he's making Lego.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I was homeschooled,
was my
so
first
I'm allowed to
assumption.
say
You're allowed
it.
to say that.
Yeah,
We're homeschooling now because of COVID. So
yeah, and the
my kids may make this movie.
yeah, homeschooling's in because God's Not Dead 4 is going to be about homeschooling.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's coming out.
well, I guess we could talk about that later.
This
Though.
episode is brought to you by God's Not Dead 4.
You guys are shilling for that now.
So
huh?
No, I don't know.
is this Lego movie stop motion or how did they?
Well, that's what I was. It's probably my biggest criticism of the film is that because I don't care if some
like puppets.
young kid made it who put his heart and soul into it, I'll still tear it apart.
Sure.
And I feel like it's a little bit unfortunate and maybe even telling that the Christian version of like a brick film isn't even a real brick film because it's kind of more staged shots, and then the movements will be more puppeted. Where typically a brick film, the ones that I've seen are stop motion.
So it's like a 3-dimensional flannel graph.
Yes, it's exactly that.
Okay.
But with Legos. Yeah, I
They
mean,
don't move their arms and legs; they just kind of go like,
yeah, exactly.
"Gotcha."
That's disappointing.
Right. I was a little disappointed because it takes more effort to do the stop motion, of course. But that's kind of what I think of as brick films. And there is kind of a large brick film community where people are making all kinds of Lego films. And I don't know. I'm disappointed that, because I think there's, within the realm
That's
of,
the biggest misstep.
that is the biggest misstep.
Making Lego Passion of the
because there
Christ.
are like bloody, serious brick films too.
Gotcha.
So if it was done well, I think at least in that
There's like
community,
a Schindler's List Lego.
I don't know, maybe.
Probably.
Boy, that would be something. But it's more action films.
Okay.
Patrick frantically scribbling over there, making notes.
Pull it up on the screen.
noting, flagging things that might need to get deleted.
Schindler's Bricks.
Schindler's Bricks. Nice. I just did a thing that I used to do in youth group where someone would make a joke and then I would repeat the joke but louder and get a bigger laugh.
I like that echo.
You get the laugh.
That's actually what my channel is.
Nice. Yeah, it's true. So
I just take Babylon Bee jokes and then repeat them on my channel.
Well, we're just repeating onion jokes anyway.
Yeah,
does the movie spend like 90% of the movie just Jesus getting beat up like the original Passion? Because it's like almost all the whole movie, right? It's just like...
It's a lot of it. And it's disappointing because it's 30 minutes long. It doesn't have kind of the interesting parts, which are the flashbacks of Passion of the Christ, where Jesus is interacting with his mom. That's my favorite parts of Passion of the Christ, not the Jesus getting beat into ground meat.
I ate a giant, messy chicken fajita sub sandwich that I snuck into the theater when I saw Passion of the Christ, and that felt like the most sacrilegious part. Like, it felt wrong.
Yeah, because you're sinning by
stealing,
food.
but also it was a mess. Like, it was getting all over me.
Wait, I don't think it's stealing.
Not stealing, but sneaking.
Yes, sneaking. It's the cousin to stealing.
It's not one of the commandments. It's sneaking. It's bearing false witness of some kind.
Shall not sneak.
It's sneaking.
Yeah, I don't think that's in there. Is it? Add that to the list of things to look up.
Okay, so there's another movie you mentioned called, I didn't know this existed either, The Trump Prophecy.
Was
Yes.
that? Who did that one? Why am I not?
Liberty University.
That's right. It was a Liberty thing.
Yeah.
The Trump prophecies or something, right?
Yeah. So it's the story of a man
Prophecy. Yeah.
who he has kind of PTSD, and that
Now, is this a true story?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Is it a documentary or like a biopic?
It's a biopic.
Wow.
And I think the story should have been about his PTSD and kind of working through that, but instead, the story is about this. I've come to believe to be either a hallucination or him lying and making it up. Allegedly. I don't want to go on record and say that
we don't know.
He's lying. Though he did either God stopped talking to him because he did predict like that there was going to be not a blue wave but a red tsunami, and it didn't happen.
Red tsunami, that sounds...
So it's the story of a man who has this vision. God shows up as an orb.
I can't say what I'm
Yeah, what I'm thinking.
Oh, why?
I just, because Patrick would have to edit it, and then it would be a whole thing.
I did think about cussing a lot on this, just because I've heard episodes where you guys had it's obvious someone can't hold back, and then someone has to go in.
Like Doug TenNapel.
So much work. It stressed me out just hearing like, So I felt bad for you.
So let's talk Christian movies. Are they getting better? Are they getting worse?
That's such a funny statement, an idea, because people say that all the time. Well, actually, Kevin, Christian movies are getting better.
I do hear this all the time. Like, actually, this one wasn't too bad. They're getting good at it.
And
they're always like 10 to 15 minutes behind, so they're just getting better according to that scale, right?
They're just as good as movies from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if that's true, because if you look at movies from the 90s, like your favorite movies from the 90s.
Jurassic Park came out in 92.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're not
making movies as good as Jurassic Park.
I think there are good Christian movies or better Christian movies, but then there are also worse Christian movies. So I don't know that that gets perpetuated. Like the Irwin brothers have their new studio, which their production company, Kingdom Storytellers, and they have a commercial for that, and it talks about how they've been given this opportunity through Lionsgate to make these movies. And they kind of imply that them succeeding means we all succeed. Like, so our movies doing well means that Christian movies as a whole do well. And I kind of am on the other side of that. I think their movies doing well means they're doing well. But I don't think it has anything to do with anybody else doing well. I don't think it affects anybody else. Unless you think about like when The Passion of the Christ came out, then you had a lot of other like rip-offs of The Passion of the Christ coming out. And so maybe those poorly made versions do better. But I don't think it means that Christian movies are made better because one person made a better Christian movie. I think it depends on if people buy better Christian movies and don't buy the worst ones. And I don't know that that's
It's
really ever going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Christian Mingle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I
Jumped.
mean, the website or
the
the
movie.
movie.
Oh yeah, there's a
Yeah.
movie of that.
Yeah.
He reviewed it.
It's
clearly
way
a-
better than it has any business being.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
We should watch
Was it like a
Christian
love
Mingle.
story, like a rom-com?
Yeah, it's a kind of liar reveal film where you have a girl who's not a Christian did you see Resurrection of Gavin Stone?
No.
What? You guys didn't watch that? I thought that was like
Dallas Jenkins.
you guys partnered with
okay.
It's like the same plot. You know, the guy that.
it's the same movie, yeah, or the same plot, but this one's about a girl. But this came before. It's while you were sleeping, kind of the so she's not a Christian, but then she's like, I can't meet a nice guy. She's like, well, maybe this Christian website, I'll meet a nice guy. And then she meets a guy and has to pretend to be a Christian and go to like church and stuff until she's
and
on
all
this
the
mission.
wacky stuff that happens.
It's like,
Oh
what are
man,
these
hilarity
questions?
ensues.
And it's a little weird because there's a level of like, it feels like the Christians are actually like really weird.
She's like, wait, you guys drink blood?
Yeah. It's I mean, it's not that. If you can believe it, there's no blood drinking in the movie, but it is a little bit.
Well, communion.
That's what I mean. Yeah. We had a kid we brought to church one time who was not grown up in the church, and he blurted that out in a community. He's like, they drink blood? He's like 8 years old.
I didn't think about that. That's
No,
right.
we're not
well,
Catholic.
I wasn't Catholic, so I didn't. We didn't. We drank Welch's
That's the
grape
creepiest
juice
thing.
as a Baptist.
No
we
Catholics.
did not have.
Good.
Yeah.
Just ostracized a huge portion of all our Catholic fans.
Oh, all the not real Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Just so you know, our Catholic producer is sitting over here shaking his head.
It's
and
okay.
glaring
We
at
have
us.
one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just letting them know we have a token Catholic. So
Yeah, Christian Mingle is. It's not a good movie, but
Shocking.
it is weird. Like watching so many Christian movies, like so many bad Christian movies, you get into this mindset. Like I think your standards lower to where when one comes out and it actually has
Yeah.
a storyline or actually kind
I
of
laughed
fits,
at that for a second.
fits like a mold.
there was a
of-
story.
There's a story, or there was like a
You
character.
can't see the boom mic.
There was real conflict. Then you're like,
had
well,
characters in that movie.
sure. If you were to compare this to a real movie, yeah, it's not good. But hey,
That's always what I assume when people say like this new Christian movie that came out isn't that bad. I always assume that's
Yeah,
what
that's
they're saying.
for
Not
a
a-
Christian movie,
It's not a good review.
Yeah,
Doesn't make me want to see it. Oh, it's not that bad.
yeah.
Let's $3.99. Let's rent this baby.
Yeah. I mean,
why?
it's
Why
like
are they- why
I
are
feel
they
like
bad?
Christian movies are kind of in the realm that maybe Christian music was 10 years ago, where they are trying a lot of different things, but they're in kind of the mimicking stage. But they're kind of shifting, and I think eventually we'll get to a place where all Christian movies are kind of this inbred version of themselves, where they aren't like real movies. They're just
Sounds scary.
their own thing, their own bad thing.
That's not a good thing. That's not a good
No.
trajectory.
I mean, if it's going to go towards like,
Yeah,
you know,
your
like,
prophecy.
like my prophecy.
Yeah. So why? You have a great video. I think it's your feature video about how to make a Christian movie or something like that.
Yeah.
You really dissect in a very intelligent way. I was drawn in.
Oh, thank you.
So what are some of your? And you said you need to update it. So what are some of your?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that we
Things-
have had like better quality Christian movies, like the Erwin brothers. They look like real movies.
Yeah, they look good.
Cinematography is great. They actually have a story arc. They're like a real movie. I think that they're a little bit.
It's almost like the real thing.
Yeah.
I want to become a real movie
But
someday.
it's like
Father.
when I was a kid, I listened to a lot of Christian bands,
Mm-hmm.
and then growing up, there's this level of betrayal throughout life where I hear like Real Big Fish, and I'm like, oh, that's what Five Iron Frenzy
That's
was.
what they were shooting for.
I get it now. Or all the DC Talk songs that turns out are actual songs, like I Love Beach Music, or a lot of them. A lot of like These Three Things I Pray.
Yeah.
Is from Godspell, and I'll
Jesus
hear
Freak.
these songs.
That's like
Oh, it's like
Freak.
Nirvana.
oh.
It sounds I mean, but just kind of mimicking, and so
Radiohead.
that kind of that realization that there are better versions of this. Like I think a lot of the Erwin Brothers movies are the two, the I Can Only Imagine and I Still Believe. I'd rather watch Walk the Line. I think it's a better movie. And it's kind of telling a very similar story.
It's a bummer that they kept his faith completely out of the movie. I mean, Johnny Cash is a guy with, he has a faith story.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of that comes after the events in the film.
It's true. So
maybe
what are some of the ingredients you went into in that video? You're like, so what are some of the I'm not trying to steal the contents completely of your video, but
we will link to it.
Yeah, we'll link to it
in the show notes.
Sure.
But I think there's like the idea that you're trying. There's goals. That's probably one of the biggest issues with most Christian films is the initial goal isn't to make a great story. That's just an afterthought of
and I don't know
conversion or whatever it is, or make a bunch of money. Or
what's interesting is because I started a podcast where I talk to a lot of the film directors, and a lot of film directors that make these movies agree with me on so much of this stuff.
Right.
But then, they'll share with me the logistics. I mean, you mentioned a very similar thing with VeggieTales.
Right.
Like that
there's a way we're going on behind the scenes and you even realize.
Yeah, that you wouldn't know how much it takes to actually make this good. There were so many obstacles in our way. Mm-hmm. But people do make good movies. They succeed at it. So I don't know if that's necessarily a legitimate thing. And you're not obligated to make a Christian movie. Like you're not entitled to having a Christian movie. And so but talking to people, it's more the market. Like, I mean, I definitely think that the market isn't there to discern whether a movie is good or not. They're there to discern whether or not they agree with it, if it's saying something that they can get behind, if it makes them feel good. Which maybe isn't unlike everyone.
Right. There's way more money in so if you're pitching, God's Not Dead or whatever, and you want to make an actual story about atheist professor and a Christian college student, you just want to make it a serious drama. There's doing it that way, or there's trying to make the marketed version to this, the persecuted Christians of America, and you're part of a movement if you get on board with this. The marketing is so much stronger to just hit people over the head with it.
Yes.
It could either be an indie film that flies under the radar, or it could be a hit you over the head Christian film that's going to be like Team Christian, rah rah rah. Let's go watch it.
Yeah, and
that's a hard battle to fight when you're trying to get a movie made. And not saying that the movie itself is this amazing piece of artwork, but those are the motivators that probably go into even making it.
Yeah, I mean, any movie, any pitch, you have to sell it. You have to sell it to the people who are going to pay for it. And you have to say,
this is going to make money.
Right.
Because it's going to cost a lot of money to make it.
And I think God's Not Dead, even though it's kind of after the film has succeeded, that it wasn't expected to succeed, that the criticism comes, but it is kind of lightning in a bottle, and it is a perfect storm of the movie, whether they knew they were doing this or not, is a commercial for itself.
Right.
And it's telling people, hey, this is something that's happening to you. You need to text all your friends and tell them that God's not dead because they don't know about that.
That's the most insane meta element in a movie I've ever seen. The end of the movie, text everybody you know on your phone. They say this in the movie.
Yeah.
That God's not dead.
Tell them.
I never got the text. So
I got the text from a friend.
You don't have the right friends.
You don't have the right friends. Yeah, they're not. They don't. Or they don't care about your salvation.
They think God's dead.
Yeah,
I know.
But they proved that he's not in that movie.
That's another thing with that one.
They've done it 4 times. They've proven that
the title
he's not
itself. You go oh, I believe God's not dead. Yeah. Just by the title, you got to be on board.
Mm-hmm. We agree with you.
Yeah.
The film. Your beliefs are correct.
The Bible is true.
But there's people out there who don't agree with you and they want to destroy you. I kind of see God's Not Dead a bit like those Tarantino films that like Django Unchained or Inglourious. I won't say it so you guys don't have to.
It's not spelled the bad word.
Say
Hacksaw.
It'll bleep you.
Perfect. Inglourious.
Hacksaw.
There you go.
And where it's taking this kind of oppressed group and creating this revenge fantasy. Like, what if, though, we could kill all the Nazis? Or what if we could have this uprising where we kill all the slave owners?
Or kill Manson. That was the Hollywood.
Yeah, that was the same one.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
Yeah. And God's Not Dead does that, where what if we could rise up against our oppressors and have all the atheists die.
Get run over by a car.
Get run over by a car, get cancer. That'd be great if all the atheists got cancer. I'd love it.
Lego Passion of the Christ could have done that.
They could. Oh, but there's a movie called
take out Pontius Pilate and all these Pharisees and save Jesus from getting crucified.
There's a movie called Assassination 33 AD.
Oh, it's been
I
done?
heard about this.
Yeah, which they're re-releasing as Black Easter. It's coming out again, same movie. I guess it didn't do as well with a name that's so difficult to say.
Yeah. It sounds like a.
But it's about going
Operating
back in
system or something.
time.
They go back in time to kill Jesus or something, right?
I guess.
Oh, to kill him?
I thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong.
To take him out. It's the bad guys. The Muslims.
Don't they know?
Invent a time machine to go back in
God.
time.
Oh, it's the Muslims.
and
Yeah, that's right.
Kill
It's like a
their
jihad.
prophet.
We're gonna go kill the
Arabs.
The best. The best jihad.
Yeah, a Muslim tries to wipe out all
Time
of
terrorism.
Christianity. Yeah,
So it goes back in time.
yeah.
It should be called Time Terrorist. That would be good.
That's
Perfect.
a good name.
Yeah.
That's a great name. We're stealing that for our movie.
Time Terrorist, the movie.
As a Christian, you know God's always there for you, but sometimes things in this life can feel downright overwhelming, and you just need to talk to someone.
That's right. That's why the online counselors at faithfulcounseling.com are there for you. Connect with a professional Christian counselor in a safe and private online environment. It's so convenient.
It is, and it's nice that you can talk to someone who shares your faith and values, people that specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, crisis of faith issues. You're not going to get that with an atheist counselor. I'll tell you what.
Right, and there's 4 communication modes: text, chat, phone, and video. You can start communication under 24 hours. Desktop, mobile, web, Android. Man, they got everything.
There's financial aid available for those who qualify. It's affordable, faith-based. So check it out. You can go to faithfulcounseling.com/BabylonB, and you'll get 10% off your first month at that URL.
Yeah, why not get started today? Go to faithfulcounseling.com/BabylonB.
What was that again? Oh, that's right. It was faithfulcounseling.com/BabylonB.
Simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with a counselor that you're going to love.
10% off. Check it out.
Check it.
Well, so I think you've
I'd love to get into talking about all the abortion movies I've reviewed.
Oh,
that would be
You
good.
want to do that?
No, we can say that for later.
Let's do that for later then.
The spicy portion of the show.
Oh, by the way, I'm eating a Goo Goo cluster, which Kevin lovingly handed
Donated.
to
Yeah,
us.
from
Donate.
Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm excited.
He's
It's-
from
How is it?
Nashville.
What do you
Very
think?
tasty. It's really good.
Good.
Yeah, it's
Good.
awesome. It's not keto.
I didn't know about that.
One thing you've talked about with Christian media is that the Christian filmmakers really the producers tend to be really afraid of their audience.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to offend, and they know that there's these lines that they can't cross.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
They know a large portion of their audience is insane.
Yeah, and I remember this is the Christian publishing industry, but when we wrote our book, How to Be a Perfect Christian, they came back with like 2 notes, and they were like, "You can't make a joke about Dungeons and Dragons, and you can't make a joke about alcohol."
Sure.
Like that was like, what? Like that's a fairly tame joke that our audience can very clearly handle. You know, but they're so afraid of it. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about cancel culture, but like
Yeah,
Christians have been doing that
Oh, yeah.
long before they perfected it.
Yeah.
Remember the
Back
red
to the
cups
80s and
at
90s, that was
Starbucks.
our thing, and now the left's taking it and run with it.
Yeah.
And now we're the ones that are like, free speech.
Well, I will say, there's when people say cancel culture, there's a difference because they talk about firing random employees.
Sure.
Where it
True,
for us,
yeah,
it tends
I
to
don't
be
know,
more this more group.
Well, they didn't have
mindset of
Twitter. It'd be interesting to
boycotts.
see what they would have
Yeah, right.
been like if Twitter existed back
Sure.
during the days of even like the release of Harry Potter. I guess Twitter did exist. Did Twitter exist during that? That's
Harry Potter?
around the
No.
time?
No.
Twitter was like 2007.
Okay.
So Harry
But
Potter.
what's another one that was, Dungeons and Dragons. Metal music, heavy metal. That was like the big thing.
like the satanic panic.
Yeah. Like
Of
what was,
the 80s.
But yeah, because I don't remember anybody trying to get people fired. It was just like, don't buy it,
Yeah,
boycott
it's
it, it's
more of a
satanic.
boycott.
Yeah. Which is more respectable than firing people.
It is, in my opinion.
It is.
Boycotting-
Christians are better.
Christians
Yeah.
are better.
Okay,
Our
you
cancel
guys-
culture is
You guys
better.
really
Our
talked your way out
our
of your
worst.
being better.
Our worst are still better than you guys.
It's true.
You jerks.
Well, because they have Twitter now.
It's true.
It just bugs me because people will
true.
say cancel, not the way you use it, but people will say cancel culture and they'll go, "Oh, well, you canceled your Netflix subscription."
I thought you didn't like cancel culture.
That's the same thing about.
I mean, you have to subscribe to
That's the
everything.
same thing about trying to get a Walmart employee fired. It's the exact same. It's like, well, probably not.
Boycotting's interesting because
I'm not a fan of boycotts. personally,
well, but
I
I think that in principle, my thought is, the way
Do whatever
we,
you want, right?
like
I mean-
ostracize if you don't like a thing.
Sure.
If you think a company is being immoral in their practices or whatever, don't buy their thing. I think
Right,
we
absolutely.
should vote with our dollar. But everyone that I see boycotting, I don't agree with typically.
Yeah.
Like not the thing that they're boycotting, but just their methodology. So it's kind of in principle, I'm like, boycotting, that is something that I agree with. But it's usually, maybe it's just the loudest people who are talking about it, where I'm like, I'm not part of that.
Oh, and it's always some overblown version of the truth.
Left Behind. Kirk Cameron version or Nicolas Cage?
Well, it depends. But Kirk Cameron version.
I haven't heard anything good about the Nicolas Cage version. Which
It's not good.
Feels
It's
like
boring.
it should be a home run.
Right. It has all the elements there, but it's just boring.
That's all the elements.
Yeah.
The
Everything
Left
you
Behind
need.
remake
It's-
with Nicolas Cage.
I know.
That's all the elements.
How could you get that wrong?
I mean, any apocalypse movie with Nicolas Cage should have the best Nicolas Cage, the wackiest Nicolas Cage, and it's just boring, low energy Nicolas Cage.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
That's really sad.
The world's ending and he's low energy.
it's just like,
Jeez.
everybody, get to the back of the plane. I'm gonna take a nap in there.
It's really sad.
You think that's how he's?
Yeah, you do wonder what's going through his head when he's on that set. He's like,
Where's my
I did
paycheck?
Face Off, man. I did National Treasure.
Yeah, maybe, but at that point, he's done so many gotta pay my bills movies that it's just another one. Like it's just all right. These 2 days that I'm here to film, I'm in this movie.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kirk Cameron's Left Behind is like if it was a made-for-TV kind of Tom Clancy-esque film, I think it's fine.
What about the sequels? Did you watch all the sequels?
They're worse. They're significantly worse. Yeah.
Couldn't we, what if, how there's there's these companies, like VidAngel, maybe they edit out the cussing, or you can pick what you want edited out. What if they had a service where they edit in a conversion scene?
There you go.
And then you can watch any movie and it's a Christian movie,
It's
as
a
long as
Christian
there's a
movie.
scene where the guy
Right.
falls on his knees, comes to Christ, and
A
then the
field
finale.
moment. Just
Right there.
right
at
in the field.
end of
Mid-altar.
Act 2, right before Act 3, altar call moment.
Yeah.
It would be good if it was always that scene from Fireproof where he's talking to his father-in-law and he's in a field and then he's like, how can I keep forgiving the same person over and over again? And then the father-in-law just looks up at this cross that's in the field.
Bingo.
I wonder what they're trying to say.
It's because of Jesus, remember?
Film scholars have debated that scene and the meaning for years.
What is he saying here?
It's like debating the end of Inception. I mean, it's
Yeah,
essentially-
It's
about the same.
Because we have the technology now. You can just project the actor's face onto the other actor.
Do a deep fake.
Do
A
a
deep
fake.
faith.
Just an auto-generated deep fake in any
Deep
movie.
Faith.
Deep Faith. That could be the name of the company, Deep Faith. And they just...
Did we just start a company?
Yeah. Wait, this is ours. We're doing this. Deep Faith. And then you just do Jurassic Park. Boom, you got the doctor. How can I keep forgiving these children? And there's like a dinosaur bone cross.
Dinosaur bones.
Just a little T-Rex up on the cross.
Seven's got faith stuff built into it.
Yeah, it's ready-made.
Yeah, it's ready to go.
It's tailor-made.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I never
And
saw it.
oh, it would always be like the movie And Jesus.
Yeah.
That'd be the name of all of them.
Well, no, my idea is you take any movie you want to watch. You can watch Game of Thrones
Right, but
or
it would-
anything.
it would
and
digitally-
it would add in a conversion moment to the plot right at the end of Act 2.
But I think we need to edit the title card as well, and it would say
Okay.
like Inception and Jesus.
And Jesus.
And
It'd be cool if it cleverly changed the title to make it feel
Fast and Furious and Jesus. I
Faith
would
and the
watch that.
Furious or something.
Yeah, Faith.
We're not just a family, we're a faith family. We're part of the body.
It's all about
grafted in.
family.
It's all about
the family of God.
It is interesting that you brought up Inception because that is something that I think about a lot when it comes to how would you make a Christian movie but make it well. And something that you said Christians are afraid of audiences, but I think they are also afraid of audiences misunderstanding. They don't want somebody to see a scene where a man and a woman are alone in a room together and think that, well, they're probably having an affair. So we got to just make sure that we make it clear that that's not what's happening in this movie. Or we don't want a moment to pass by where, I don't know, somebody makes a joke. Yeah. And then we don't clarify that was just a joke.
We aren't okay with these jokes. They have to look at the camera.
Yeah. Or like even a lesson. I think the Kendrick brothers do this a lot where the movie will be about one thing, but then there's this moment in there of like, that relates to something like Dave Ramsey. And they have to like make sure we mention the importance of being financially good with your money. Even though the movie's not about being good with your money, but we're going to make sure that point also is in there, leaving nothing kind of to the imagination. And I think about after Inception, seeing that in theaters and all the people talking afterwards and out in the theater, like, what did the ending mean?
Right.
And isn't that something that the faith of Christianity is kind of tailor-made for inciting discussion like that?
Right.
Like, isn't that what you would want your Christian movie to do, is have people out in the lobby afterwards saying, well, what was that? What did that mean?
Yeah. That's something I loved about Scott Derrickson's Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't tell you what to believe at the end, but it definitely makes you want to talk about it. You finish it and you want to talk about, like, are demons real? Like, there's it's just an interesting thing to, like,
yeah,
it's worth talking about. And there's a fear of showing the bad. And to tell a story about a character turning good, you have to have them be bad. We struggle with this on VeggieTales. One of my favorite stories, I'm sure I've told this. We had an episode called Bob and Larry Getting Angry. It was about them getting angry at each other, and they have to forgive each other. But there's the verse about don't let the sun go down in your anger. Mm-hmm. So they decide they're going to stay up all night so that they don't have to forgive each other. And they're just mad at each other the whole time, and they kind of keep one-upping each other. So the note we got back from one of the execs was, can they just not be angry in it, though?
Sure.
It's really good, but can they not get angry? Because they don't want to see our soft, cuddly Bob and Larry angry at each other. And but that's like kind of a microcosm of like how trying to make real stories about the real world, about real people, but then putting all these like Disney-style bumpers all over everything, mm-hmm. Like this little tennis ball in the corner, make it all soft and cuddly. You can't tell real stories if you want to create this fake world where everything's soft, nobody says bad words,
Right, a lot of them.
Could you get, it's like the Breaking Bad notes or something like, can Walter White just not be so
yeah, can he
Christian bad? Can we just not have the bad?
We liked him in the beginning.
Breaking great.
Can he go back to just being a teacher?
Breaking Baptist.
What happened here? Be like with the Godfather. Michael gets a little mean at the end, doesn't he? I thought he didn't want to be like his dad.
Did Jesus get notes on that when he did parables that were violent?
Well, isn't that the interesting thing?
That to make your point?
Why is it that Christian stories are so poor when we have the founder of the faith told stories all the time, and he left them vague, and he explained why he left them vague.
True.
He even had the board of trustees saying, "Excuse me, Jesus, I feel like your story." They'd given him notes on it. I feel like your story wasn't clear enough. Why did you do that? And then he explains.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like my favorite Christian art, my favorite Christian
music. He gets
music.
A little Calvinist there, though.
Yeah,
I don't really like that.
My favorite Christian art is always the stuff that asks questions, and I think that's the problem. Is we don't like asking questions because it feels like are we doubting? Are we doubting God? If you ask a question through a piece of art,
right,
we like it to teach a lesson.
It has to have all the answers.
Yeah,
that's something I like about Scott Derrickson. He said it's better to ask deep questions than to give simple answers.
He got that from me.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now that I've met you, I'm
like 7.
Yeah. This is where Scott Derrickson got all his stuff. Mm-hmm. I think a great example of that is the movie Risen. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's kind of it's kind of like Seven. Okay. It's a mystery. It's a murder mystery about Jesus. Like who done it? It's a whodunit about Jesus, and he.
It's like following a Roman guard or something.
Yeah, and so he's been tasked to find out what happened to the body, and it is very interesting for the first half, and then spoiler alert for this Christian movie that came out 5 years ago. he finds him. He finds Jesus, and then you follow him through all of the and it's fun because it's like, oh, I remember, it's like greatest hits of Jesus post resurrection and all the, he's walking on water and he's pulling the fish out and he's doing all those miracles he did, and then we get to see him ascend. And I think it would have been better had they left it ambiguous. So he decide, if it ends with him deciding, he's like, look, I'm sorry, but I know my assignment was to find the body. All the evidence here tells me that there is no body, that he is alive. I can't do this job anymore, and walks away. And then maybe he's walking to where he believes Jesus is. Maybe you do see
See the cross?
You see the cross?
or you see him
Dinosaur bone cross.
See a light going up into the sky or something.
He gets beamed up.
You see him ascending, maybe, or maybe it isn't.
But then when does the atheist get hit by the car? That's
Right.
really
And that's the issue. How
can't
do
do that.
you murder the atheist in your movie? How do you take revenge on the
run
atheist?
over by a chariot or something. Maybe. Yeah.
That's in the Christian version of Save the Cat, which is the film writing book. That has all these snazzy little titles for
What's it called?
plot points. Kill the atheist.
Yeah.
I was tracking. Yeah, I was tracking.
Oh dear. You mentioned some other movies I hadn't heard of, and I don't know how many people have, but you said they're worth mentioning. Princess Cut. What is Princess Cut?
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. You guys remember I Kissed Dating Goodbye? Mm-hmm. The book that ruined my childhood.
Same.
Do you guys have, I have these two sets of people that get on my nerves. I've got, these ultra-Christians who are like, yeah, you should get your dad to pick who you're going to marry.
Right.
Because he knows. My dad would be great at that. And my dad's a great guy, by the way.
Right.
But I don't want... he's not in charge of who I marry. And then there's people who say that, the first 18 years of my life ruined my entire life. And not that but just, I Kissed Dating Goodbye destroyed my childhood. Which I don't believe it destroyed anybody's life. I don't believe it. There's a whole documentary that's apologizing, because Josh Harris apologizes and he's like, "I'm sorry," and I feel like that's a bit arrogant. I'm so sorry for the power that I had over everybody's life.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the book in itself isn't.
No, people just took the name of the book and then
it really wasn't that bad, in terms of what it was saying. It was just don't give your heart to anyone too soon, and it's it was pretty standard stuff as far as I was concerned. But I probably
saved me from a lot of mistakes, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I made other mistakes, but yeah.
But was your motivation out of guilt?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, it's like anything. It's not the cleanest argument, but it's also the strange decision to have 17 or 18 or something.
That's what's dumb. It's just dumb.
That's the weirdest thing,
dumb.
to have someone that young, unmarried, write a book like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the weirdest
Here's how
thing.
to have a happy and fulfilling marriage.
Yeah.
I promise you, my life
Here's
is
how to have a happy and fulfilling marriage for your life.
Yeah.
Written by a
So Princess
7-year-old.
Cut is kind of that. It's about this girl who's she's dating all the wrong guys. It begins with her going to meet her boyfriend. That she's like, I think he's gonna propose today. And she goes and she's in this restaurant and his friends are there. She wasn't expecting that. And then he does propose to a different girl.
Oh, man. Right in front of her?
Yeah, and it's well, that seems like something you should have known.
Yeah,
You should have known about
That's
that.
kind of on you.
Yeah.
Kind of on you at that point.
Did he know you guys were dating? Seems like he didn't.
He didn't even know her.
It was a girl. Yeah, so it kicks
Did he
off
invite
that
her?
way.
She's found him? I have so many questions already.
Yeah, the movie doesn't answer those.
Okay.
Yeah. So it continues, and she decides that she's not gonna date, and then she meets this guy. There's two guys. It's been a while. I haven't watched it in a while, but eventually she decides that her dad's going to pick who she's going to marry. And it's this guy who, in the movie, it feels more like he's in love with, the dad's in love with the guy more than she is. And he's just, so thrilled about Clint is his name. Clint.
Okay, Clint.
And he's closer to her dad's age, too. So I think he's just excited that I'm going to get to go fishing and hunting with this guy. He's going to help me on my, he has a soy farm, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
I mean, you have
The
your
dad
friends.
has a soy farm?
Yeah.
You get excited about the idea because you have your kids playing together with your buddies, and you're like, these two could get married one day. then all of our family trips could be us hanging out, smoking cigars.
And it's
or
like
whatever.
maybe just be friends with that guy. Don't force him on your daughter.
There's something to be said for arranged marriages.
So it gets real wacky.
sold.
This other guy shows up and is like, wants to date her, and Clint's ex-fiance showed up, and you find out that Clint doesn't have a perfect past. And then there's this fight with shovels in the barn. It gets real crazy. It's fun.
That sold it. Fight with shovels in the barn. Is it a good fight? How's the choreography?
It's not great.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
It's not like John Wick level.
No. Though there is
That's what I want.
David A.R. White did a movie called Beckman that is like a Christian John Wick.
Oh, really? What?
Yeah.
How is it?
Because I was going to say,
It's
I want
not
if
good.
we get that deep, if we get that deep faith.
I said it's the Christian John Wick.
The way that he says movies are not good is so deceitful because he goes, "It's not good,"
It's very bad.
and I'm like, "Oh, it's not bad." Oh, he said,
I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not good choreography.
Well, it's the VeggieTales situation where there just wasn't a lot of budget.
Not enough budget. Yeah.
But why then make it?
Yeah.
If we don't have the money, why are you making it?
But isn't that why? Because that's what it seems like. Like, if you have the Christian labeled thing, there's a certain subset of people that will pay for it.
Yeah, no matter what.
No matter how bad it is.
It's Cartman starting a Christian band on South Park. He's like, there's
Right.
a built-in audience, so we're going to start a Christian band. And people will buy it.
Yeah.
I think that genuinely is. I think that people will continue to make these poorly made movies, or they'll find other ways to make money. I think we have kind of a Christ-exploitation situation right now where there is a lot of, like, in movies in general, there's a lot of B movies being made because there's a lot of streaming services, and they just need to have 400,000 titles on their streaming service. So
Right.
if you go on, like, Pluto or Plex or, like, these different places that have a bunch of free movies, you can find Sharktopus versus Werewolf.
Yeah. Isn't there
or
what's the Christian streaming service?
There's, well, which one?
Oh, there's whatever.
Pureflix.
They've made
Pureflix
so
is
many
funny
movies. Like, they have to just be pumping these things out.
Yeah.
You see the list and you're like, I don't know. And
don't
it's all the
know.
same actor and all of them.
Just don't know.
David A.R. White.
David A.R.
him?
White.
Yeah,
He's
right.
in,
Go
yeah. He's in a bunch of, like, Malibu Dan, the Family Man. Like, it's a sitcom. He's in another sitcom on Pureflix called Hitting the Brakes.
Was he the John Wick guy?
He's the John Wick guy. Beckman. He's also in a post-apocalyptic.
That's the Mad Max one.
Yeah, the Mad Max one.
Redemption Road or something. Right?
Revelation
Is it
Road.
like
Revelation
the-
Road. Yeah.
So is it like the Asylum model? So Asylum is
Yeah,
like
it's
the
asylum model. Yeah.
they're basically bank for people that don't know this. They make like they made Transmorphers.
Yeah,
So it's a giant
the
robot on
day
the
the
cover.
Earth
and
stopped.
It looks like the title. It looks like the movie, and they completely make these really low budget movies, knowing a certain percent of people will get the wrong movie. Now, I don't
Yeah.
know if they'll still do that.
Look, I got you that Transmorphers movie you were asking for.
Yeah, because also if you had the
Thanks,
video, this is
Grandma.
from like video store days where like the new releases and stuff would cost more.
Yeah.
And then you say, "Oh, Transformer! I'm getting a hot deal here. It's in this section." They accidentally put it over here.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole model is based on just deceiving people.
Dumb people.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now, though. Like, is it that people are flipping through, like Sharktopus versus Werewolf or whatever? Is that to, like, trick someone to click on it?
Yeah, I don't think that.
I think that one's
Or is
there's
that
a
to be
certain because
funny?
I've heard that in horror there's also a certain genre of audience that will basically rent or buy every horror movie
Yeah.
that comes out. There's just so if you keep
So they
things
have
at a
a
certain
built-in
budget,
audience.
then horror movies are very safe at low budget.
Well-
That's why so many are made.
The horror world is very similar to the Christian world. You'll have kind of, like, if you talk to somebody and say, well, you know what, this is just a product of indie films, not Christian films. All indie films are this way. But I think the difference is, for one, like those horror movies. I've been to these festivals where, the film festivals with horror movies, and when they're watching like a campy, over-the-top, bloody horror
Right.
movie, people are laughing.
Yeah.
Like they know this is ridiculous, and that's why it was made. They're there to have fun and watch this like crazy over-the-top thing. I went to the premiere of Overcomer, and people did laugh, but like,
It's a Christian movie for reference, either.
sorry, that Yeah.
I feel like I've heard of that.
It's the most recent Kendrick Brothers movie.
Okay.
Which sports, right? Sports ball?
It's
a sports
running.
Running.
Yeah.
That's sport.
He was a basketball coach, and then the town got shut down, or the factory got shut down, and then he becomes the running coach. But there's only one runner.
There's one leg.
That's one of those. It only has one leg.
Hopper.
She overcame that. She found Jesus and grew a leg. It's quite an inspirational story, to be honest with you. And I resent that you guys make fun of it. That's rude. That's a good example of like, it's got 3 characters and they all kind of are supposed to have the story arc, but they're fine at the beginning. I'm like, these are pretty, like if any of these people were my neighbors, I'd be very pleased. So what's wrong with them? Why do they need to, it's not really that impactful that they learn to be a little more Christian than they were before. Like, they're just fine. Where's the story arc here? But then you do get kind of like that Kevin Sorbo movie that came out, Let There Be Light, which is he is a hardcore atheist. Did you guys see God's Not Dead? Anybody
I
see
saw
that?
the first one.
So Let There
Did they
Be
get
Light.
better?
The God's Not Dead movie?
As they go?
I'm quite the advocate for God's Not Dead 3. I'm a big fan.
That was the Supreme Court one, right?
No, that's 2.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What's 3?
3 is different writer, different director. It's directed by Michael Mason, but that's not actually who directed it. That's a
Like
pseudonym.
a pen name or something?
Yeah, and the real director, I think it's
Like Michael Bay or something?
It's Michael Bay. He actually directed it. No, it's the guy who did. His name's. I know his name, but I think I won't say it because he doesn't want people to know.
Just
so
say it.
I'm just
Tell us later.
Yeah, I'll
Rhyme
tell
it.
you guys later in the subscriber portion.
That's like Kirk.
Hey, you. Are you enjoying this interview?
Oh, I know I am.
Oh, I sure am. I'm actually probably sweating trying to think up new questions right
Yeah,
now.
this very moment.
But if you're enjoying it, you should become a Babylon Bee subscriber because the interviews are much longer.
Yes, and we also have the most fun because the portion of the interview that does not go up here on YouTube publicly can be Googled, so our guests kind of kick back a little bit and get a little looser.
They tell us what they really think.
And we always do our 10 questions, which for everybody and tends to be the funnest part of the show.
Yes. So become a Babylon Bee subscriber at babylonbee.com/plans, and you get the full interview show, and you also get it a day early. Do it now.
Let There Be Light's funny because it is very much like, if I didn't know that Kevin Sorbo, I think he's very sincere, but it is like a parody. It takes all of the tropes. It's like someone watched my How to Make a Christian Movie and then made a movie on that. It's got a little kid who dies and goes to heaven. It's got an atheist who he's playing Hitchens basically, and he's doing these speeches and he's like, arguing with these pastors, and then he gets hit by a car and he goes to heaven and sees his dead son, and then his wife gets cancer, and they come up with this whole thing that I think what they were trying to do is start a movement where everybody on Christmas Eve at 12 o'clock will shine their phone light up into the sky so people could see it from space, which I don't know if that would
that
work.
happen?
I don't know.
I don't think that.
So it's like the everything bagel.
And
of
it's
movies.
like a selfie for God, is what they say in the movie.
a selfie for God.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's what he wants.
So,
Because you don't shine your light.
but you think they were actually trying to start a movement outside?
Yes.
Like
I
in the
believe
God's
so.
Not Dead movie where they wanted everybody to text.
To text their friends. They actually wanted to start this thing where Christians
It's way
would
more
start
complicated
doing
because
that.
you have to know how to have your light on while your camera is aimed at you.
I don't think they're actually
flashlight.
taking a picture. They're just shining the light up into the
Oh,
sky.
Like at a concert, everyone holding the light.
But
up.
you're right.
Oh,
A majority of their audience would actually have to know how to use their
They
phone.
would have put a tutorial on how to get your flashlight to work on your
Yeah.
phone. Most of that audience probably. That's like my stepmom. I was trying to show her how to do it when I visited with her.
Or they would have to know how to turn their flashlight off after.
Yeah.
And not just walk around with their flashlight on all
That
the time.
happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go into our subscriber portion now, and Kevin's going to tell us about actually good Christian movies.
Yeah, what are the good ones?
And
So it won't be a long subscriber
so it's
portion.
about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do the 10 questions, and we got all kinds of other crazy stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
You ready?
It'll never end.
Let's do it.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go without seeming grateful.
Coming up next for Babylon Bee subscribers.
Good movies. Tell us about good Christian movies.
Oh, yeah. There's one, Breakthrough is probably the best of the My Kid is in the Hospital genre.
Oh,
What's
Anti-Bulldozer.
your peanut shell? You said you were going to talk about all the abortion movies you've watched.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, we never got
Yeah.
back to
You
that.
pumped that.
Yep, a lot of abortion movies out there.
Enjoying this hard-hitting interview? Become a Babylon Bee subscriber to hear the rest of this conversation. Go to babylonbee.com/plans for full-length, ad-free podcasts. Kyle and Ethan would like to thank Seth Dillon for paying the bills, Adam Ford for creating their job, the other writers for tirelessly pitching headlines, the subscribers, and you, the listener. Until next time, this is Dave D'Andrea, the voice of the Babylon Bee.